Who's your favorite president?
Martin Van Buren.
Why is that?
I like his side.
Oh, hi there. How convenient.
President wins.
By the way, just cutting in here before you see any more of the video, that intro was completely new. I hope you enjoyed it, and I just want to give a shout out to my brother who let me use some of his, recording stuff in order for me to, do some of it. And he helped with the visuals, so thank you very much for that. And now back onto the video, learn more about the president. I'm not going to interfere anymore. So today, our topic is Martin Van Buren, and I kind of made him famous because, I've been on the Ellen show quite a number of times, and back then, Martin Van Buren just happened to be my favorite president because of his really cool sideburns. I still really like them today, but today I want to go over the tons and tons of reasons of why Martin Van Buren isn't my favorite president anymore, and we are going to get into that today. So, here we go. Martin Van Buren took over the reins of the presidency after Andrew Jackson followed the George Washington tradition and stepped down after 2 terms. Hang on just a second. My mom would probably want me to make the bed. Yeah, okay, let's continue. Martin Van Buren was pretty much Andrew Jackson's handpicked successor. They both were really good friends, except they had completely different backgrounds. Martin Van Buren was born in the North, in Kinderhook, New York, and he just grew up there. He was poor, but he wasn't entirely following the Southern background like Andrew Jackson did. But they became fast friends. They shared very similar views, and that's how Van Buren won the presidency in 1836. The problem was that because Andrew Jackson shut down the Second Federal Bank in his second term, there was going to be an economic collapse in the presidency of whoever came next, and that just happened to be Martin Van Buren. So even though Andrew Jackson politely gave the reins of the presidency over to his very best friend Van Buren, he also unintentionally gave Van Buren an economic mess that Van Buren didn't create himself, and he would have to deal with it. And this became known as the Panic of 1837, where banks failed, people lost their jobs, their homes, all their money. It was the first great economic depression that the country experienced. I mean, the 1819 short depression in the James Monroe administration following the era of good feelings, that's not, really an official depression. This was, the first real economic collapse. Van Buren was just not the one who was gonna do what he was supposed to. This is the thing, Van Buren tried his very hardest. He set up an emergency session of Congress to try and do the opposite of what Jackson really did. Jackson had put the money of the federal bank and illegally deposited it into various state banks so that slowly the bank would shut down. Van Buren wanted to do the opposite to clean up the credit mess that had prevailed since the Jackson administration, and tried to take the money that was in the state banks and put them back into the federal bank. But the bank was already shut down and the plan never worked. So Van Buren is just sitting in the presidency with an economic disaster unfolding in front of him, and there's not much he can do. Then the economy really collapsed when the price of cotton just completely collapsed because, you know, cotton production was a big, you know, part of the American economy. So, yeah, that happened, and it was all spiraling downhill, and while people couldn't even buy bread, it was said that Van Buren was buying millions of dollars worth of flower beds for the White House. It did not help his image, and in 1840, the new party, the Whigs, versus the Democrats, could have nominated pretty much anyone, and the candidate could have beaten Van Buren. So they nominate this General William Henry Harrison, who the Whigs think sort of captured this image of a poor general that, you know, people had admired. So they nominate him, and he wins in a landslide. So that's pretty much it for Martin Van Buren. His retirement was definitely much better than his presidency, by far. He even voted for Abraham Lincoln in 1860, and near the end of his presidency solved a border dispute between Maine and Canada. And that's pretty much Martin Van Buren. He wasn't terrible like Andrew Jackson. He didn't really do a lot to help the staggering economy. He also did many of the same, you know, Indian removal policies that Jackson did, which is really disgusting. But he wasn't all bad. He figured that slavery was not a good thing, but he tried to avoid it in as many ways possible. So I'm going to give Martin Van Buren a bad, not terrible, but bad, pretty bad. That's Martin Van Buren. So the next president is William Henry Harrison. And again, if that name sounds familiar, yes, it's the guy who died a month into his administration, the shortest presidency ever. So that's gonna be a short video. See you then.